Hey everyone, Elena here, and today I'm going to be telling you about an article that I found that relates to Unit 1. If I look down, it's because I have a sheet of paper in front of me and it's going to be my guide that will help me just in case if I were to forget what I'm talking about. But anyway, the article that I found, the headline says, "Our journalists are being attacked while doing their jobs. This is unacceptable." It's written by Maribel Wadsworth, Nicole Carroll, and Amelie Nash, and they are reporters for USA Today. And this is an opinion article. And so what's going on throughout this article is that Wadsworth, Carroll, and Nash, they're explaining how journalists and reporters are being attacked by the police during protests and riots. And they emphasize what it's like being a reporter during these times and the experiences that other journalists encountered during the protests and the riots. Throughout this article, Wadsworth, Carroll, and Nash explain how this treatment towards reporters are not only disrespectful, but a violation of the First Amendment. And they also touch a little bit on how it's also disrespecting peaceful protesters. And yeah, so a few situations that journalists have faced. At least 8 journalists were arrested in Minneapolis on Saturday night, May 30th, while covering the protests. All journalists were held 1 to 4 hours. A TV crew in Louisville was shot with pepper balls while reporting live and following police instructions. A CBS News crew was reported being fired on with rubber bullets by the police, and they did not receive any verbal commands to leave or move. And whenever they showed up on the scene, there was no instruction given to them. So they just kind of jumped in and they started doing what they were there to do. But police, I guess, took them and assumed that they were protesters or rioters. So they just decided to start shooting them with rubber bullets. And then finally, a CNN news crew was arrested in the midst of a live broadcast. So basically, not only are these reporters getting shot at, they're experiencing tear gas, they're experiencing these pepper balls. Their rights are being taken away. The First Amendment right is being taken away from them. And so, like I just mentioned, once they get to the scene, they're being attacked with other protesters. And so that's pretty much the general idea of what this article touches up on and what they talk about. And so relating it to Unit 1, it's because we're learning about the First Amendment and the freedom of speech, and especially how us as reporters, our rights and what we're allowed to get and what kind of news we're supposed to get. And when going to these protests, the reporters are accepting a risk. However, they want the world to have access and knowledge of what's going on. Even though there are circumstances, reporters still have the right to go out and give valuable news and updates, and because it's their job to report on news and give people information to the best of their ability. And I'm not saying that reporters are more superior, but it's their job. And nobody should be attacked. Nobody should be getting shot at with rubber bullets. Nobody should be getting tear gassed. There's peaceful protests and there's riots, and the peaceful protest, I believe there shouldn't be anything going on that's violent, but rioters, I feel like that's whenever police should step in, but still not shoot people. I think that's a little ridiculous. It's obviously very unsafe, and the tear gas, I think, is another wrong solution. But that's just how I view it, and that's my opinion, just a little thought of what I think about the protests and riots. But anyway, this article, it relates to media law because there are specific rules that do need to be followed. However, reporters are needed on the scene of important events. So the protests and riots, they're prime examples. And if reporters are disabled from doing their job, then how can they update people, you know? And so this opinion article, it demonstrates what it's like during these times for journalists and how the police are restricting people from their First Amendment. And so the way I see it is whenever a reporter is being arrested at a protest, the free and fair gathering of news is being arrested as well. And yeah, so lastly, in the article, there was a quote that stood out to me regarding the duty of a reporter. It says, "Reporters and photographers are there to record the truth, as peaceful as or as violent as it may be. We are considered public servants in this role, not part of the protest, but there to document it for the American people." And so this stood out to me the most because this explains the purpose of a reporter's job, and it explains the purpose of who they are and what they're supposed to do. And when it comes to my stance of the matter of police attacking reporters, even when they show proof that they're there for a job, I think, and I feel like everybody else will agree with me, that it's unfair and unnecessary treatment, not only for the reporters, but protesters as well. And if I were a reporter during these times, I would stand my ground and do everything I possibly could to get the information that I needed. I would do this safely and peacefully, but I would find a way to get the truth and inform America with accurate information, because that's what they deserve, and everybody wants to know what's going on right now because there's a lot happening in this world. So yeah, that's pretty much the article and how I relate it to Unit 1 and media law. But yeah, thanks for watching.